Good morning, students. I am so excited to be with you here today because we're going to talk about the last part 7 of the Rime of the Ancient Mariner. We have been together through parts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and now we're at part 7 now. I left you at part 6, and the young mariner was desirous to go home. He says, "Oh, I'm home. I'm so close. I'm in the bay next to my home, and all that lacks is for me to get in the pilot's boat and be sailing off for my home." And look, it's the hermit. And the hermit is known to be a holy man. And he's known to listen to the tales of sailors and to listen to their confession and to help them pray. And he says, "Oh, the mariner, he'll help me pray. He'll help me to get forgiveness for all my sins." And so the young mariner is very excited. He's very happy. Let's start. "The hermit good lives in that wood which slopes down to the sea. How loudly his sweet voice he rears. He loves to talk with mariners that come from a far country." So the young mariner sees the hermit in the pilot's boat, and he knows that the hermit is known for being kind to sailors and for listening to their tales, and he is very excited to be in that boat, and that little boat. He's been in a big boat, but he wants to be in the little boat because the little boat is going to take him to the shore, which will lead him home, and he is so excited to be there. He kneels at morn and noon and eve. He has a cushion plump. It is the moss that wholly hides the rotted old oat stump. So the mariner is known for praying 3 times a day. He kneels down on a mossy stump and he prays 3 times a day, like Daniel. "The skiff boat neared, I heard them talk. Why, this is strange, I trow. Where are those lights so many and fair that signal made but now?" So the pilot and his son and the hermit, they approach and they see lights. And of course we know that those lights are the angel, the seraphim. And they say, "Wow, why is the ship signaling to us now? We're already here. Why didn't it signal a few minutes ago? That's really strange." "Strange, by my faith," the hermit said, and they answered not our cheer. "The planks look warped, and see those sails, how thin they are and sere. The sails are dry. They're thin and dry." How can you have a thin, dry sail? How can you have a dry sail when you've been sailing over the water in the wind? And so the hermit says, "This ship is looking strange. It's looking strange to me. It's looking odd. And look at the ship. The planks are warped, and the like I said before, the sails are dry. This is an odd looking ship. I'm getting a bad feeling about this." "I never saw aught like to them, unless perchance it were brown skeletons of leaves that lag my forest brook along. When the ivy tod is heavy with snow, and the owlet whoops to the wolf below that eats the she-wolf's young." So the hermit says, "I've never seen a ship that looked like this one, but it reminds me of the violence of nature, and that violence and death are a part of the circle of life. The wolf eats the sheep, and circle of life." And he said, this ship reminds me of the violence of nature. "Dear Lord, it has a fiendish look." The pilot made reply, "I am afeard. Push on, push on. said the hermit cheerily. So the boat pilot thinks that something looks evil, and he's like, let's just go home. Let's just leave this one. But the hermit says, no, let's continue toward the ship. Let's see what's going to be here. The boat came closer to the ship, but I nor spake nor stirred. The boat came close beneath the ship, and straight a sound was heard. So the pilot's boat moves toward the ship, and suddenly there's a loud noise. Whoo! Big noise. Big noise. Under the water it rumbled on, still louder and more dread. It reached the ship. It split the bay. The ship went down like lead. So there was a big sound, and the water split. And the ship sank. Boom. There's a little bit of a problem, though. Our mariner's still on that ship, and it's sinking. Stunned by the loud and dreadful sound, which sky and ocean smote, like one that hath been 7 days drowned, my body lay afloat. But swift as dreams myself I found within the pilot's boat. So he's saved from drowning by getting in the boat with the pilot and the pilot's son and the hermit. Upon the whirl where sank the ship, the boat spun round and round, and all was still save that the hill was telling of the sound. So the boat, the bay split, and the boat sank or sinking, and then it starts to whirl. Reminds me of a toilet bowl. I moved my lips. The pirate shrieked, ah, and fell down in a fit. The holy hermit raised his eyes and prayed where he did sit. He went like one that had been stunned. So the pilot is so frightened that he falls down in a fit, a seizure. He has a seizure, he's so scared. And the hermit tries to pray, but he can't. He just sits in a catatonic state like this. He can't even pray. So they are very frightened by what's happening. I took the oars, the pilot's boy, who now doth crazy go, laughed loud and long, and all the while his eyes went to and fro. Ah, quoth he, full plain I see, the devil knows how to row. So the pilot's son is shaken too, and he starts to laugh hysterically. And his eyes roll back in his head. I don't know if I can do that. The young mariner grabs the oars. He says, well, somebody's got to row this boat. And the young boy says, look, the devil knows how to row. They think that the young mariner is evil. And now all in my own country I stood on the firm land. The hermit stepped forth from the boat, and scarcely he could stand. So the young mariner rows the boat to the shore, and he is so happy to step out of that smaller boat and onto land. And he's thrilled to step out of the pilot's boat and onto land. And the hermit steps out of the boat also, but the hermit is shaken, and he can hardly even stand up. Oh, shrieve me, holy man. The hermit crossed his brow. Say quick, quoth he, I bid thee say, what manner of man art thou? So the young mariner says, please hear my confession. But the hermit looks at him and says, what kind of a man are you? I don't know what kind of a man you are. You scare me. Young mariner must be a scary man. Forthwith his frame of mind was wretched with a woeful agony, which forced me to begin my tale. and then it left me free. So the young mariner tells how his whole body shakes with pain, and he feels the need to tell his tales, and he can't be free of the pain until the tale is told. So right here, the young mariner starts this journey of his life, and the whole rest of his life he's going to be like this, where he tells the tale and he feels better. But it just starts building and building and building and building, and then he has to tell the tale again. And that's his life, telling this tale. Since then, at an uncertain hour, that agony returns, until my ghastly tale is told, the heart within me burns. So the mariner tells how he gets a painful yearning to tell his tale, and his pain is only lessened by the telling. I pass like night from land to land. I have strange power of speech. That moment that his face I see, I know the man that must hear me to tell my tale I teach. So the mariner travels from place to place, and he looks at people, and he looks at faces, and when he sees the face of the person who needs to hear his tale, he knows, oh, that's my guy right there. And he has to tell his tale to that person. What loud uproar bursts from that door! The wedding guests are there, but in the garden bower the bride, and bridesmaids singing are. And hark, the little vesper bell, which biddeth me to prayer. So the ancient mariner and the wedding guest hear two sounds. Now the ancient mariner is finished with his tale. So he could let the wedding guest go, but he doesn't. He keeps going.